Camera shooting menu 1. So here you can reset or assign your custom modes, see 1, 2, and 3. You can adjust your picture modes. Again, all these can be adjusted from the Super Control panel as well. You can select if you're shooting RAW or JPEG, your aspect ratio. We have different ones. It's nice that the camera tells you how large the file dimensions will be based on what you're selecting as well. Digital teleconverter on or off. Then your shooting modes, or your interval and time-lapse settings. If this is on, then you can select a number of frames that you want, up to 999. Your start waiting time. This is kind of a pre-delay, so it's kind of like a self-timer before the whole thing starts. You can select how long the camera waits before initiating the first shutter. Interval length is how much time between each frame that's fired. Again, you can adjust. Time-lapse movie. Do you want the camera to automatically compile all the images it takes into a movie and offer that in addition to the files? Or if you have that off, you'll get just the files individually. And movie settings. If you do have it compile into a movie, you can set what the movie quality is going to be. Your frame rate is dictated by this, so it might be more beneficial to just take the files and compile them yourself later. Shooting menu 2. This is where you can turn your bracketing on and off and adjust your bracketing options. So exposure bracketing, white balance bracketing, your flash bracketing, ISO, art filter bracketing. It will bracket for any one that you have checked. So you see I have a bunch checked. This will make a bunch of derivative images. Focus bracketing. This is where you can do focus stacking as well if you're using a compatible lens. You can set how many shots are included in the focus bracket, how wide of an interval between each shot's focus, and charge time if you want there to be a delay so your strobe lights can recycle. HDR settings. You can select what HDR mode you want to shoot in. Multiple exposure. This is great. You can do, just like in film when you could do 2 frames or 3 frames on a single negative exposure, you can adjust. You can do 2 frames overlaid on each other, and auto gain adjusts how the exposures are laid onto each other. Overlay is an option where if you've shot a frame already, I don't have any images on this card, but you can select a frame and then take a photo that will get added onto that image. So you're doing a multiple exposure with a shot that's already been made. Keystone compensation. This is where you can adjust for tilting the camera up or down or left and right. Anti-shock silent mode. This is where you can adjust those settings. Anti-shock at 0 seconds. This gives, it suppresses shutter shock. Silent mode. This you can adjust delay prior to the shutter firing after you've hit the shutter button. Noise reduction. If this is set to off, noise reduction will not happen. If this is set to on, it will happen, but you will hear the shutter click as it takes its dark frame. Silent mode settings. This is where you can adjust what really happens during a silent mode. So here you can see you can have the shutter autofocus sound turn on or off. The autofocus luminaire can be on or off, and flash can be on or off. High-res shot. This is where you can adjust your pre-delay. So I have mine set to 4 seconds, but you can set this to off or adjust however long you'd like, up to 30 seconds of pre-delay. So when I hit the shutter button, the camera will count down 4 seconds before it even initiates the shot. So knowing that high-res needs completely no vibration to work at its best, the longer you set this, the better. It'll give the camera time to suppress vibration after you've hit the shutter button. And charge time is how long do you want the camera to wait between each shot in the high-res shot sequence So if you need your flashes to recycle, you can select how long that takes. RC mode is your ability to turn on remote control mode for your Olympus flashes. If you turn this off, then you can get into your flash settings and adjust the different groupings, A, B, or C group, and if they're TTL or manual, for instance.